Terminology in the Integral Yoga. The mind of light. Sri Aurobindo. The mind of light is a subordinate action of supermind, dependent upon it, even when not apparently springing direct from it. Essays in Philosophy and Yoga. A mind of light will replace the present confusion and trouble of this earthly ignorance. It is likely that even those parts of humanity which cannot reach it will yet be aware of its possibility and consciously tend towards it. Not only so, but the life of humanity will be enlightened, uplifted, governed, harmonized by this luminous principle, and even the body becomes something much less powerless, obscure, and animal in its propensities, and capable instead of a new and harmonized perfection. It is this possibility that we have to look at, and that would mean a new humanity uplifted into light, capable of a spiritualized being and action, open to governance by some light of the truth consciousness, capable even on the mental level, and in its own order of something that might be called the beginning of a divinized life. Essays in Philosophy and Yoga. A new humanity means for us the appearance, the development of a type or race of mental beings whose principle of mentality would be no longer a mind in the ignorance, seeking for knowledge, but even in its knowledge bound to the ignorance, a seeker after light, but not its natural possessor, open to the light, but not an inhabitant of the light, not yet a perfected instrument, truth conscious and delivered out of the ignorance. Instead, it would be possessed already of what could be called a mind of light, a mind capable of living in the truth, capable of being truth conscious and manifesting in its life a direct in place of an indirect knowledge. Its mentality would be an instrument of the light and no longer of the ignorance. At its highest, it would be capable of passing into the supermind, and from the new race would be recruited the race of supermental beings who would appear as the leaders of the evolution in earth nature. Even the highest manifestations of a mind of light would be an instrumentality of the supermind, a part of it or a projection from it, a stepping beyond humanity into the superhumanity of the supramental principle. Above all, its possession would enable the human being to rise beyond the normalities of his present thinking, feeling, and being into those highest powers of the mind in its self-exceedings, which intervene between our mentality and supermind, and can be regarded as steps leading towards the greater and more luminous principle. This advance, like others in the evolution, might not be reached and would naturally not be reached at one bound. But from the very beginning, it would be inevitable. The pressure of the supermind creating from above, out of itself, the mind of light, would compel this certainty of the eventual outcome. Essays in Philosophy and Yoga. What we have called specifically the mind of light is indeed the last of a series of descending planes of consciousness in which the supermind veils itself by a self-chosen limitation or modification of its self-manifesting activities, but its essential character remains the same. There is in it an action of light, of truth, of knowledge, in which inconscience, ignorance, and error claim no place. Essays in Philosophy and Yoga.